NFTs, green flags, red flags. What's up guys, my name's Tom. I've been involved in the NFT space for around 3 months now. I'm still early and learning a lot of things along the way, but the things that I have learned I feel like aren't being repeated or emphasized to new people coming into the space, and I'm seeing that there be a real difficulty to learn, and I'm watching people fall into things just like I did that they shouldn't be doing. So I'm planning to share some do's and don'ts, some green flags, some red flags, things you should be following along to help you on your NFT journey. Let's start with the green flags. Do your own research. That term is overused and misunderstood. I mean, follow Twitter pages, monitor them, monitor the engagement that they get, the growth that the channel gets. What's the quality of value that's being brought forward? What is the message here and how is it being delivered? If you don't know what a project is about and you have to dig like for the tiniest scrap of information, it's a very bad sign. It's not the end of the world, as this could be part of their marketing strategy to create scarcity and things like that. But typically you should know what you're looking at, especially before you hand your money over to someone that you've never met before. That brings me on to the next topic. So who are the founders? Are they doxed? Are they real? Do they have experience? When did they last post? Reach out to them. Now, you got to understand that project developers are busy people. It takes time and you may never even get a response back from them, but by reaching out to ask important questions not only shows that you have interest in the project to the developer, but it shows that you have interest in the developer themselves. And by starting a conversation with them, you may connect about an entirely different topic, movies, coffee, whatever it is, and start to build a relationship and develop that rapport. And you might be able to get some inside alpha before anyone else, and it just helps you to understand what the project's about. And if you're in this for the short term, you might not be too bothered about making long-term connections in the Web3, NFT, and crypto space. But by doing your due diligence, it's the only way to protect yourself, because we don't have any sort of, this is the nature of decentralized networks, right? Is that there is no centralized platform which is organizing, validating and approving things for people. You could argue that Magic Eden has now implemented a doxing phase where it will dox, you have to be doxed in order to be on their launchpad. But it's about that thing of, would you buy something in real life if the person that was selling you the item refused to show you their face? They refused to answer any questions about their product. They refused to give you their name. They refused to show you what you're even buying into. No, you wouldn't buy into it. And if you would, you are shopping in the wrong places, my friends. The next thing you should do as a buyer, collector of NFTs, someone looking into this space, is join Discords from official pages. So if you're on the official Twitter page of a project that you really like and they have their Discord link, it's usually the best way to accept a link. I wouldn't accept links from a DM or a random message from someone, as most projects will never DM you first. So join the Discords of pages that you're confident in and the projects that you like. Monitor the chat. Send a few messages yourself, see the kind of response you get. How are people communicating in there? Did it take a day to respond? Did anyone even respond? And also understanding the attitude of the people in the community is an essential insight into how the project could perform. So if the majority of people in the project are only talking about the floor price and talking about how much money they can flip it for, you know that they're not there for the long term and they're planning to exit that project as soon as they can. I personally tend to look for projects that are going to be a longer lasting, have a longer lasting run, things I actually like to get involved with and I can see being developed in the future. Along with monitoring their Discord, also check, do they have a website? If so, how good is it? Be honest. Is it clear? Is it insightful? Are there twisted words and phrases that repeat themselves, or claims that can potentially go against each other that don't actually add up? Or is their value proposition realistic? And is it even real? I've seen ones where people were kind of promising things which seem too good to be true, and as we know, if it's too good to be true, it usually is. Then don't just stick to their Twitter and their website and their Discord. What other social media platforms is the project on, and what do their pages look like? What are they doing? Are they engaging with them on a regular basis? Are they present in these other places? Are they acting like a real brand would behave, or are they trying to funnel loads of people into one space and one concentrated area? Because that is a red flag. Also check the founders' social media, not just the projects. Are they real people? Are they relatable? It's not necessary that you actually like the founder and you want to become their friend, but knowing that they're a real person is essential information, because you don't want to be buying into a project where the person isn't even real who you've believed in and they just walk away with your money. It does happen, and that's what we've seen in the space so far. So by doing your research, doing your due diligence, checking that they're real people, sending them messages and engaging with them, it helps you know that you're investing in something solid and with genuine people. And then another crucial mention is, do you like the art? The last thing you want, if the worst happens and everything goes to zero, is to be stuck with a piece of art that is ugly. This also plays a role in how well the project could do in the first place. If there's terrible art, it's not going to get as many eyes on it, people aren't going to be as hyped for the project, and it's less likely to sell out, and therefore you're left with an NFT which is going to go down in value because people aren't into the project at all. If the project has great art, people will tend to flock to the project and imagine those characters in the world that the developers have written, the lore and the storyline. For me, I don't invest in any projects where I don't like the art, because if it does go to zero and it's worth nothing one day, at least I'll have a really cool picture. So that was some advice for buyers and collectors coming into the space. Now I want to move on to advice for sellers and projects and things that they could be doing to actually help new people coming into the space and help people get into their project. So the first thing I think a seller could do is to be clear. The more defined your project is, the better. I don't mean you need to tell us every individual thing or try to include too much that you'll actually be unable to deliver on what your plan is, but it should be clear and simple to find whilst being easy to understand. We don't need you to promise the world, but be sure to headline to everyone what it is you are offering. Whatever it is that you have built and you are trying to provide, make that be the centerpiece. Don't make it so that we have to crawl through all of these different things to find the tiniest piece of information for what your project's actually about. The clearer that you communicate that to us, the better, and the more likely we are to invest in your projects. That leads me swiftly on to my next point of communication. We don't need to know everything, but we do need to know on some sort of regular basis, whether that's weekly, daily, monthly is a bit too long in the NFT space, but updates. We need to know what's been achieved, what is being worked on next. The easiest way to lose interest from a collector or buyer in your project is by not communicating on the continuous development of the project. If you leave gaps and too big a gaps, people are just going to lose interest and not be following along. They're going to lose the hype and not want to be part of what it is that you're building. Even after a mint, it's possibly even more crucial to stay involved and engaged with your audience and your community, because people want to know what is happening with their money. They've now parted with their money into the project and they want to know where it's being spent and how it's going to benefit them in the future or the project as a whole. So moving away from the project slightly, as a person, the developer, you under the covers, you need to communicate as a person. Tell us who you are. That's how you build your personal brand. Whether we like it or not, no matter how many faceless, soulless DAOs we put in place, people are always going to be the ones pushing the buttons, making the decisions. So as an owner, you need to communicate who you are, because the more relatable you are, the easier it is for your audience to connect with you and have something to talk about outside of the NFT project. And if they can believe as you in a person, they're going to invest into you as a person and the projects that you have on offer. I think personally this is what's missing from the NFT space. The fact that we've moved to such a decentralized space that we're now not even in communication. Even when you think about how we check in every day, it's GN or GM. There's no personality behind that. So when I try to send a good morning message, I try and make it more than just 2 letters, because I'm a real person, not a robot. I think another important responsibility of a developer, of someone in an NFT project especially, is that you are the host of the show and you're responsible for guiding the community where you want them to go. You're responsible for building towards the joint cause that you aim to create. If you can't control what you want people to say or how to act in your Discord or in your community, you need to guide them. You need to lead them and set an example for your mission. This falls into communication, but the difference that I'm trying to get you to understand is that you set the rules here, and it's up to you to enforce them. People aren't going to do it for you. If that's solo and you're running this on your own, you need to go for it and be on it and set your standards. But it could also be acquiring a team of moderators. Like myself, I've been a moderator in a Discord, helping run the community and keeping people engaged. Or it could even mean hiring community managers and having them run the project for you as a paid basis. But what I really mean is when you set the rules and it's up to you to decide what is allowed and what's not allowed, it's going to allow people in your space to feel safe to talk about the things they are allowed to and also know what isn't accepted in the Discord. You don't want this messy miscommunication of people feeling like they can talk about this thing and then they get banned for some reason and it wasn't explained to them. So the clearer you can again communicate your rules to the community, the better relationship you're going to build with them. Now, after speaking with a few developers from different projects, I think this one is really important. You need to stay healthy. This goes for anyone and everyone in the world, but especially for NFT developers and projects, because I'm seeing people burn out, putting months of effort and work into their projects for people to then not mint out how they expected, and they get really disheartened and go down a negative mental health spiral. Now, this one I think is super important. You need to find a balance with your life and your project. You are a person, not a DAO or a machine. You need to stay healthy in order to operate and serve your project and your supporters as best that you can. Now, this is important for everyone in the world right now, and it will always be a constant search to find balance, but I'm using the NFT space as an example here. Gonna drop a few for you, but projects like Sleuths have a focus on mental health. The Mimos world is another one you may have heard of. And a third project which doesn't so much focus on mental health, but it is implementing some cool strategies to maintain balance, is called Creative Friends. They currently close their Discord on weekends and are active throughout the week. This is refreshing for the founder and the community as we all get downtime and then we have experiences to talk about from the weekend once the Discord opens again. This is always being decided upon by the community in a weekly vote. So if the community doesn't want this system to continue anymore, then it won't. But the majority of people in the Discord and in the community want this format to stay, and I can see why. I'm a part of it myself. It allows that time where you're not constantly engaging with everyone, having to talk about tiny things. You can actually go away, do something yourself, and when you come back to your community, you have something to offer. And finally, something that isn't said to project developers. I think the opposite is encouraged by the majority of people and people buying into projects. But for me, I want you to take your time. Don't rush. I know money is there and it can be tempting to let greed get the better of you and speed things up or drop them in early, or so many different things can come into factor. But I can assure you it's the fastest way to run your project into the ground. Because quality work takes time to build and quality relationships take time to develop. Solid brands can take years to become recognized as a player in any industry. So don't let this stop you from starting your project, but be serious, be genuine, and be ready to put in the work to build something great. Because you shouldn't be trying to look for the short flip and some quick income, because that's where people are now becoming cautious and they're doing their due diligence to do what I've mentioned in this video of doing their own research, diving a bit deeper, finding out about the projects, so that they're not able to just lose their money in a really unsatisfying way, but to actually invest it into something which is going to be worked on and developed into the future to become something awesome. I could be here all day talking about NFTs, so I'm going to end this video here to try and keep it concise and on topic about do's and don'ts to do in the NFT space, green flags, red flags, things to look out for. I will be making more videos in the future about NFTs, my opinions on them, where I think they're going in the future, the kind of value that they can provide us, and how I think we can interact with them. But if you enjoyed this video, be sure to leave a like, subscribe to the channel for more content, and leave a comment down below of what you enjoyed from this video. If there's something you think I missed out in this video, be sure to leave it as a comment down below, and I'll check them out and respond to you. Have an awesome day. Peace out, guys.